Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fandom Frequency Show, episode 13. It's your boy Kenny coming at you solo dolo today. I know it's been a minute since we dropped an episode, man, but we're coming at you back in full effect, and we got some really dope topics to get into today, as you can tell from the thumbnail, man. Got some cool trailers to talk about, got a couple other things to talk about, TV show, movie, all kinds of good stuff, man. And a little bit of music thrown in there as well. But with no further ado, we're going to get right into it, man. But thank you guys for all the support on the podcast network. I meant to say, thanks for all the support on the podcast network. We just reached a little bit over 600 downloads on the overall network, man. So we're growing slowly but surely, and it's all thanks to you guys. So we really appreciate all the support so far in the show. But let's get right into this thing, man. And before we get into what's the word, man, just want to let you guys know we do got some other content planned for y'all for certain things like the new Kendrick Lamar album, you know what I'm saying, Mr. Morale, and the Big Steppers. We got a whole big discussion coming for that, and we might have a couple of other albums in the mix as well we might be talking about here soon. And Stranger Things is right around the corner, so we're going to have a recap for that, so don't worry about that. We're going to have that. We got Kenobi coming. You got that. We're going to be dropping some content for that this weekend. Stranger Things should be within the next week or so, and we got some other stuff coming at you, y'all. So we're going to be back in full effect here, man, getting into the summer season, coming in nice and strong, man. We're going to have that consistent content for y'all. But yeah, man, just wanted to let y'all know off top right there. We got some really dope stuff in the works, man. Your boy's been working on his solo projects, you know what I'm saying, my music stuff. So got some great stuff coming for y'all, man. It's been a really good time. But with no further ado, let's get into it. What's the word, you know what I mean? Where we get into all the pop culture news topics and whatnot. And this one, man, is going to be a little short and sweet. Nothing too crazy going on. But we got some really dope trailers and a really crazy scene to talk about. And starting off with that, Stranger Things Season 4, right around the corner here, May 27th, this Friday. Man, this thing is about to drop, and it's going to be something special. And I just can't wait to see it, man. Been 3 years, since we had that last season. So much hype and anticipation for this one for sure. But I'm definitely going to temper my expectations when it comes to that joint, man. We're getting the first 7 episodes, I believe. But this 8-minute preview of the first 8 minutes of season 4, holy shit, man. I'm not going to spoil that in case people don't want to know, because it necessarily isn't something you have to really see, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like you kind of have to go out of your way to see it a little bit or hear about it. So I won't spoil what happens in it, but I will say for what happens in that scene, man, it is it makes you think about season 1 and everything that leads up to now differently in a sense. And I wonder how that's going to play in throughout the season with this particular character, man, because holy shit, man. All I got to say is slasher movie vibes. That's all I'm going to say, man. Slasher movie vibes right there. And yeah, man. And if y'all seen the trailers, shit looks hella intense for this season, man. So I'm really hyped for it. You guys, all of my fellow homies and colleagues and all the listeners that have been to the show before know I'm a huge Stranger Things fan. I have had this as one of my most anticipated anything that's dropping this year. So I can't wait to see that thing, man. It's going to be really, really cool. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think about it, man, in the comment section and all that good jazz. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what you thought about that scene, if you've seen that first 8-minute preview. And if you haven't seen the preview and just seen the trailers, let me know what you think about that. What do you think about Stranger Things overall? I want to get into a discussion with you guys, man. Hit us up on the social media. Get in those comments, man. Let's talk about it. But moving right along. We're getting into the trailers, man. We got two trailers back to back here. Straight up MCU flavor right there, man. Within like a week of each other. We got the She-Hulk trailer last week. You know what I'm saying? I believe it was like last Wednesday or something like that, last Thursday. And then we got the Thor Love and Thunder trailer just the other day. So starting off with the She-Hulk trailer, man. It looks like a good amount of fun, man. I gotta say, I didn't necessarily love the trailer, it didn't blow my socks off, but there were things about it that I thoroughly enjoyed, and some things I'm a little leery on. But overall, I really, really enjoyed her dynamic as I think I forget the name. I think it's Jennifer Walters. But yeah, I really dug Tatiana Maslany's chemistry with Mark Ruffalo being Bruce Banner, her being Jennifer Walters, and I like that whole dynamic and chemistry they had in those quick scenes they showed us in the trailer with her. Like, it looks like if I don't transform, I'm gonna die, and he's like, oh shit. And she's all that busting out after she transforms and everything. We're gonna go kick his ass. He's like, "Oh no, no!" It was so funny, man, and I really enjoyed the trailer overall. You know what I'm saying? It looks like some pretty cool action scenes are gonna go down in this thing. I like the whole superhuman, legal, whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? I like the whole like lawyer division thing. That's just strictly for superhumans. You know what I'm saying? And that whole dynamic, I hope, is really played out strong throughout the whole season. I think it's gonna be like 8 episodes or something like that, which I think is thoroughly refreshing because some of these Marvel shows have needed a little more time to breathe. Moon Knight is one of those ones we're going to get into in a bit that is definitely the case. But overall, I got to say, I really dug the trailer. The only things that I'm kind of like a little leery on right now is the CGI looks a little weird in certain spots, but obviously the show isn't going to come out for another 3 months here, so I'm not trying to judge it too harshly too soon. But overall, it does look a little weird and a little wonky at times. But in the scenes where it looks good, it looks good. So I'm hoping they can really pull that off. It looks like we're getting that super comic book accurate costume as well. So love seeing that. You know the MCU's all about that flavor. So that's really cool to see. And you got some weird ass characters up in here. Titania, I believe, who's played by I'm forgetting her name now. Let me look it up real quick cuz oh man, what is her name? Let's see here. Let me just look up the cast real quick. Yeah, Jamila Jamil is playing Titania, and then you got someone's playing Frogman apparently, who's like a D or like F-list character in the whole Marvel comic books, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty funny. But overall, man, it looks like it's going to be a good time. And you got Tim Roth back as Abomination for sure. So that I'm pretty sure is going to be dope. So I'm definitely looking forward to this a lot, man. I want to know what you guys think about the She-Hulk trailer. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you fall somewhere in between like me? Let me know. I want to get into a discussion with y'all, as I always say. It's always fun to nerd out about this type of stuff. And then now we're going to get into that Thor Love and Thunder trailer, baby. And I got to say, I love me some Taika Waititi. Y'all already know that. I'm a huge Thor Ragnarok fan. Top 10 MCU flicks right there for me, baby. Still to this day, even this deep in Phase 4. And I got to say, I'm really digging these trailers, man, for Thor Love and Thunder. This whole storyline with Thor looking to find himself and trying to find his place in the universe while coming into contact with the first love of his life in Jane Foster as somewhat of a new version of Thor with his Mjolnir, man. It's just crazy. I just can't believe it, man. Like it's just so crazy how this all comes around straight out of the comic books. Never thought it was gonna happen. I thought Natalie Portman was out of here. But it's kind of cool to see her in this thing, man. Looks like she's having a pretty good time. Definitely looks like she's having a little bit of better chemistry with Chris Hemsworth overall, just in the quick scenes and flashes we get of their dynamic in this thing. And I hope that really comes through to play like it seems like it is in this trailer. Looks like she has some good chemistry with oh man, come on now. With Tessa Thompson, aka Valkyrie, up in this thing, and she looks great in this. I dig the whole redesign of her costume and stuff like that. Looks like she's going to be along for the adventure for the most part, so I'm definitely happy about that. She was one of my favorite new additions to the MCU overall, Phase 3 and beyond, and just in general, Valkyrie is just is just climbing the list of my favorite characters, man, every time I see her, so definitely hyped to see her in this thing, and she looks really cool and funny. And overall, man, the reveal, of course, of Christian Bale as Gore the God Busher. Holy shit, man. Gore's looking like a real deal bad motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Look like you don't want to fuck with him. He killed that big ass God thing that Thor and Korg are looking at. And man, he ain't fucking around up in this thing. And he looks really awesome in this, man. I'm really happy to see Christian Bale up in the MCU. One of my all time favorite actors, man. Loving him ever since American Psycho through the Batman trilogy, all that shit, man. Love that guy. So really cool to see him jumping up in this. And looks like he's going to be doing a really good job, as I expected. But hey, man, what else is there to point out in this trailer that's pretty crazy, man? Oh yeah, you got Thor over there in the nude and shit, and everyone's fainting and everything. I'm like, oh man, Thor, man, you something else, bro. You making everybody faint over here, bro. And then he's like, you flicked too hard, damn it. Freaking Zeus, played by Russell Crowe, flicks his clothes off and shit. Oh man, it's just silly, fun stuff, man. That Taika Waititi's gonna bring to this thing, and I love this whole comedic side of Chris Hemsworth and just Thor, the character in general, man. And the action looks really cool in this. The effects look really good. You still got all that Jack Kirby flavor just oozing off the screen. So I just can't wait to see what Thor: Love and Thunder is gonna have in store for us, man. Overall, really, really hyped for this one, man. Definitely up there in my anticipated movies list for sure, man. But want to know what you guys thought about it for sure. It's really, really dope, man. I want to know what you guys thought. I'm really loving this thing and can't wait to see it. I always temper my expectations when I go into it. Doesn't need to be perfect or anything, but just looks like it's going to be a really fucking good time in the theater like Ragnarok was, and it definitely looks like it's right up my alley. So I'm looking forward to that for sure, man. But moving right along here, man, we're going to get into a little bit of a recap right here, and we're talking about Moon Knight. I hope y'all didn't think we weren't going to talk about Moon Knight, man. We have been talking about the whole series thus far, and now after it has concluded, the finale has come and gone. It has been several weeks now, and I've had a chance to rewatch it and everything like that, and kind of, get my thoughts straight. Gotta say, overall, man, I was, for the most part, satisfied with the last two episodes 5 and 6, of course. And the finale overall, man, I gotta say, episode 5 is my favorite episode of the series and one of my favorite episodes of MCU television thus far. Like, if I was going to do a top 10 list, which I think I might do on the channel at some point, y'all let me know if you want to see that. But, yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes of MCU television, period, so far. I love that episode going in deep diving into Mark's backstory and the origins and birth of the personality of Mark. I mean, of Stephen Grant, you know what I'm saying? Through the trauma and through the abuse and everything that he was enduring as a child, and the really tragic thing that happened with him and his brother, and how his brother passed on, and his mother blames him for his death because it is somewhat his fault, actually, and just holds it against him in such a fucked up way, man. It is so heartbreaking, man. And just the whole way they weave you in and out through the mental hospital in the different rooms, and in the really trippy way they weave you in and out of these memories in his life, in these deeper things that he has to look at and has to face and come in contact with in order to balance the scales in the Egyptian afterlife or whatever, as according to that hippo god or whatever the hell. Y'all know, if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen it, of course, and I hope you have, because I'm going to spoil the hell out of it right now. Spoiler alert. But yeah, man. It's pretty crazy, man, and just getting to see that whole way that Oscar Isaac was just playing, and in the same scene on camera, you know what I'm saying, just changing personality mid sentence and everything, and just changing his whole demeanor and just his body language and his facial expressions and everything like that. It's just crazy seeing how and just Oscar Isaac in general, man, throughout this whole entire series overall, and especially in this episode, but all of them in general, was phenomenal, man. Him just weaving in and out of these different personalities and the way that he was able to play it back and forth so seamlessly, man. You got to commend the guy and give him some props, man, because it's really, really well done for sure, man. And overall, I gotta say that the with the actual finale of episode 6, because I'm just kind of jumping back and forth here. When it comes to the action side of things, it was really dope to get to see the Moon Knight action that you were really waiting for. Scarlet Scarab reveal with Elena. or with Elena, and that was fucking awesome. And I just loved her character overall, and thought that she was such a standout, and even at times a little better than Mark's character was. You know what I'm saying? So real big props to her and the way they wrote that character into the whole team there, man. Really dug Elena the whole time throughout the series. And overall, man, with the whole mental hospital aspect of the last few episodes as well, with that reveal at the end of episode 4 or whatever, holy shit, man. It is just crazy the way that it's like you're just on the edge of your seat questioning every time it flashes back to it with him and Dr. Harrow, aka Ethan Hawke, and all that whole thing going on. And then the way that sometimes slips in the way that Oscar Isaac slips into that Jake Lockley persona every so often. It's like, oh shit, man. And you get those little hints of that right there. And just the whole dynamic of that, you just don't know like what's reality and what's not at a certain point, because then you start to question what the hell's really going on and what ain't. You know what I'm saying? But overall, throughout the whole time, I was pretty sure that the mental hospital stuff was fake, which it was. And I was like, all right, I think we're in the real world. Actually, I don't know what's going on here with the afterlife and all this other shit. He does have Khonshu in his body. He did have him in his body. I don't know. Weird shit, man. But I dig weird, trippy shit, man, as you guys know. So I was along for the ride in that aspect. But at times it was like, holy shit, man, what's real and what's not? But I was enjoying that aspect overall. And man, like I said, man, episode 5, man, just such a well done episode overall, man. And just the way that Stephen Grant ends up sacrificing himself at the end there is, it was a bummer, man. I was pretty sure he wasn't dead, like he was out for the count, because he came back in the next episode. But I was like, oh shit, man, he sacrificed himself and stepped up right there. You know what I'm saying? I like that character development right there. I like that change, and I like how each character has its own arc and his own personality and his own stuff going on, even though it's within the same body. Technically, you know what I'm saying? So that was just so well done, man. I just can't give Oscar Isaac and the team enough credit in that regard. That just the whole multiple personalities and everything like that, man. Just the acting overall was so fucking well done. Ethan Hawke, I thought, after a while as Dr. Harrow in the regular world or whatever, got a little boring and repetitive after a minute. I thought the Dr. Harrow persona or side of it was much more interesting and effective, actually. So that really, really boosted the character up for me, because at first, man, I was like, I don't know about this guy. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of starting to drag for me. I was starting to lose a little bit of interest. But overall, man, I got to say, I dug Dr. Harrow overall as a villain. Not the best villain by any stretch of the imagination in the MCU, comic book films, superhero flicks, whatever, TV, whatever you want to say. But he was at least a pretty solid villain that I had a good amount of entertainment with, especially in the last half of the series. So definitely wanted to highlight that as well, man. And what else can we recap and talk about here, man? What else can we talk about here? Yeah, the whole thing with his backstory too, and the way they showed him like crawling up to the Khonshu, to the altar or whatever when they're in Egypt after homeboy, his partner, killed everybody off and shit, including Elena's dad and stuff like that. You just see him crawling up to it, and then Khonshu starts talking to him and everything. I love the way they did that flashback, because I really wanted to see that throughout the series, and to get that quick flash of that, man, just to see what the hell's going on here and how he came to that point and all that, and if what Mark was saying was the truth, because sometimes you're not sure if you can trust Mark. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing with Mark Spector in that regard was so well done, and I really dug that. And just the character of Khonshu overall, just want to highlight him for a second here. He was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? I didn't love him, didn't hate him or dislike him in any way either, you know what I'm saying? He was pretty cool. At moments, I really, really dug his character. At times, I thought it was a little weird, but overall, it was really well done. The kaiju battle was okay. Could have done without that, but overall, man, I dug Khonshu. Pretty cool character and all that. The whole boss element and all that with the kaiju stuff and all that was okay. A little, I don't know. I feel like they could have did something a little cooler with that, but overall, it was cool. It was cool for what it was. You know what I'm saying? But the fighting between Moon Knight and Scarlet Scarab and everything going into that finale, and the way that all that tied together with Mark Spector and Elena and all that came together, man, was really cool. And then, yeah, man, it was just really, really good episode. It was a pretty damn good finale. You know what I'm saying? I just thought by the end of the series, though, that things just felt a bit rushed and that we could have used, like, I think another couple episodes to let things breathe a little bit and to get to this conclusion and let things kind of build in a more natural progression. You know what I'm saying? Just felt a little bit rushed to me. But overall, man, I had a good time with the series. I really, really dug the series overall, man. And after having a good amount of time to think about it, I think I'm going to rate this series a good. I think I'm gonna give the series a 7.75 out of 10. It was a really damn good series, man. I had such a good time with it. And the whole Jake Lockley reveal at the end, I really dug and really can't wait to see where that's going to go. And I hope they do a season 2 or something with that character because I want to really see where that goes because Mark and Steven think that they've been freed from Khonshu as according to the little deal they made in episode 6 in the finale. But nah, bro. Not with Jake Lockley, homie. Jake Lockley's down for the fucking cause. So that whole reveal at the end, I really dug that. Just wish they could have revealed. I just wish they didn't cut away from that one fight near the end there and then just reveal Jake Lockley then, and then we get to see him again at the post-credit and firmly know it's Jake Lockley. I just would have preferred to see him do that really crazy massacre right there to win the day at the end in episode 6, man. But overall, I dug the series. 7.75 out of 10, you know what I'm saying? Really, really dug it. Slightly disappointing, and I think could have been done and executed a little bit better. But overall, it's a damn good show, man. And I'm definitely going to rewatch it at some point. And I definitely want to see more Moon Knight. And think they can improve and take everything they did well and take everything they did good and just apply it to everything else that they're slightly lacking in. And I think the show's going to come together. So I think if they do get a season 2, some further exploration, I think this could be one of the best shows in the MCU. I think it has the potential to be. But I want to know what you guys think about it, man, in the comments below. And let me know on social media, any of that, man. And if you know me personally, man, hit me up. I want to know what you thought about Moon Knight overall as a series. I want to know what you think about it, especially if you're like a hardcore MCU fan. Where does it rank for you overall in the MCU shows, all that good jazz, man? I want to get into it with y'all. And what did you think about episode 5? Did you think I'm overhyping it and certain people are as well? Or do you think it is one of the dopest episodes in MCU TV so far? You let me know, man. I can't wait to hear from y'all and we'll get into that discussion. But we're going to keep rolling it right along, man, and it's time to get into it. I've been dying to talk about this movie, man, and it is finally time. Multiverse of Madness, baby. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange 2. Whatever you want to call it, man. Spoiler alert. Spoilers ahead. Full-on spoilers. Duck for cover if you don't want spoilers. But hell yeah, man. I gotta say, I enjoyed the hell out of that flick, man. I did end up seeing it twice in the theater, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it. I think equally each time, man. And overall, there's been a lot of discussion and discourse about the film. Some people love it. Some people kind of, I wouldn't say hate it, but some people definitely aren't digging it as much. You know, the reception is mixed amongst fans and amongst critics and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But it is making quite a bit of cash money, as we all expected, as the MCU normally tends to do. And you all know I am a huge horror fan. I am a huge Sam Raimi fan. You know what I'm saying? So going into this one, I did have a pretty high expectation, but I always try to temper it as much as possible. But I was very excited to see what Sam Raimi was going to bring to the MCU in Phase 4 in a Doctor Strange film, something he's always wanted to do, alluded to in Spider-Man 2. You know what I'm saying? So all of that right there is just right up my alley, man. And I gotta say, going into this thing where everyone's hyping it up as in part of this movie, man, is just a straight up horror flick. You know what I'm saying? It's probably one of the darkest MCU films so far, and they definitely pushed the limit on the gore, no doubt, up in this one. I gotta co-sign all of that, man. And that is one of my main fucking positives of this movie, man. When Sam Raimi gets to go full Sam Raimi and gets to really play in with the horror elements and the aspects of that, it is fucking awesome, man. Like the whole scene of Scarlet Witch chasing down Doctor Strange and America Chavez is like some straight up T2 Terminator fucking shit right there, man. She is on their ass, and it is terrifying, man. And I gotta, like, geez, dude, like her crawling out of the mirror, like dimension effect thing, all coming out looking like she's Samara from the fucking Ring or something, man. Like, holy shit. This movie was a full-on horror movie, man. She's making heads explode, you know what I'm saying? She's twisting necks, you know what I mean? Like, fucking Scarlet Witch ain't fucking playing in this, bro. And I gotta say, man, like, geez, just the horror elements in this thing are just so awesome. I really dug that overall. And just Sam Raimi's style and direction, I thought, was a really welcome addition to the MCU. And I think is one of the few times they've really let a director really stretch or not stretch. I don't know why I said that, but they really let the directors inject their style into the film all throughout it. Like honestly, dude, like only for the first 30 minutes, maybe like 20 some minutes of this film does it feel like a MCU, like a typical kind of MCU templated film. You know what I'm saying? But after that first like 20 some minutes or whatever, and once we fully get into the Scarlet Witch stuff at Carmitage, it starts just getting more Sam Raimi and more Sam Raimi and more horror the whole time. And as it fully progresses, and from the fucking scene of the Illuminati on, holy shit, man, it is just full-on horror vibes for the most part, for show. And I am loving every single second of it, man. And overall, beyond that, man, we're going to dig a little deeper, man. We're going to get into some of these characters and some of that, all that good jazz. So, starting off with the title character, man, Doctor Strange himself. I got to say, just a little bit of background on me and where I stand with Doctor Strange overall as an MCU fanatic. I do dig Doctor Strange quite a bit before this film dropped, you know what I'm saying? And I gotta say, starting back with his film, his first solo film back in 2016, man, Phase 3, I wasn't loving the character, honestly. I liked him okay, but I thought he was, and I was one of the people that was saying he was very Tony Stark-esque, you know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of too much of a douche for me to really get behind him. I didn't feel like in the first film they gave him enough of an arc really to really make you feel like he had changed a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? He had changed a little bit. He was a little bit less of a dick for sure. But I don't think they really fully sold his progression at that point. And I know it wasn't his full arc just in that one movie, obviously. It's the MCU. They're planning on bringing him in a big way. And obviously we've seen that come to fruition. All the way from then through No Way Home into Multiverse of Madness, man. So you already know what the deal is. But back then, I just wasn't as into the character until we got to Infinity War, and that's where I really started to kind of like the dry wit in the way that Cumberbatch was playing the character, and I really started digging him a lot more, actually. And then by the time he came back for No Way Home, I really liked him a lot, and I was really enjoying him as a character a lot more, because he definitely was less of a douchebag, but he still had those tendencies about him, and a little bit of that arrogance, but not in the same way as before, where you really can kind of see that he did sacrifice himself. He did find the one way to achieve the ultimate goal of defeating Thanos and bringing back half of the universe, you know what I'm saying? So all of the way that his character has been developed up until this point, coming into Multiverse of Madness, I was definitely much more into the character overall, and I definitely like him a lot more. And then getting into this film, I think he has such a really well done arc. I'm not saying it's like the best character arc or like on Tony Stark or, you know, even Steve Rogers level or anything like that, but I do think he has a pretty damn good arc throughout this throughout this film, man. Like, just really getting to see, like, the whole question coming up, like, several times throughout the film, like, are you happy? Are you happy? You know what I'm saying? And him being like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm happy. But you know when he's fucking pounding wine or whatever the hell that is at that wedding, homie ain't happy. You know what I'm saying? He's seeing the love of his life move on and marry someone else. You know what I'm saying? And all because of his own fucking selfish actions and his own negative aspects of him as a person. He drove that away, and now he's alone. And even though he's achieved some great things and he does cool shit in a sense, he is alone in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And he can't be with the woman that he loves and the person that he's had those feelings for. It might be the only person he's had those kind of feelings for in his life. You know what I'm saying? Depending on, you know, his past and whatnot. So that was really telling. And then the whole thing with his younger sister and the whole way that she passed away and all that good jazz when he's confronting the other variant version of Doctor Strange that used the Darkhold a lot or whatever that the Illuminati were referring to. And that whole plot point right there really brought in a lot of emotion right there, and getting to see Doctor Strange really regret something and getting to see him really like, ooh, like when he mentions that, you know, like you could really see the look on his face, like the demeanor of him change a little bit, and you can see that regret kind of peering through, you know what I'm saying? And just the whole way that he has to come to accept that he can't be with Christine and that he has to let her go and he has to move on and find someone else and then just kind of do his own thing and then just be a better person as well. It's just so awesome, by the way. It comes around at the end of the film, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I do feel if this movie was a little bit longer, which we'll get into later, we could have gotten to a little more development with that. And I think that would have made this whole character arc of Doctor Strange even more strong, where it was just undeniable. But I do think that Sam Raimi and the team, Michael Waldron from Loki fame, writing this thing, and everyone, working at Marvel and whatnot. I think they did a pretty damn good job at making you care about Doctor Strange and his journey a little bit more than his past film, for sure. So I definitely dug him overall a lot more in this flick, for sure, man. And when it comes to the big elephant in the room, you know what I'm saying? My girl, Elizabeth Olsen, playing up Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, man. She was not fucking around up in this, man. And her whole character has been a character arc, and her whole storyline in this has been very controversial amongst the MCU fans, amongst film fans, just all us nerds out there in the fandom world, in the fandom multiverse, you know what I'm saying? It's been a little divisive, but I gotta say, I dug it overall, and I thought her being the villain, made perfect sense, and I thought there was plenty of development from Age of Ultron through WandaVision into this film right here, where it made sense for her to take this darker path, bro. I fully don't understand where people are coming from, honestly, where there wasn't enough development and that they skipped a few steps and that it was a big leap that she would come to this point. At the end of WandaVision, she didn't even really. She apologized a little bit for what she did to the people in Westview, but she didn't serve any time. She got away scot-free, and she didn't get any repercussions or any, consequences. There were no repercussions, and she didn't get any consequences for her actions at all. Didn't seem to feel too bad for him. And at the end of that series, we see in a post-credit scene that she's using the Darkhold, and she hears the voices of her children, and she's looking into that, and the Darkhold corrupts people and is an evil thing. So by the point in time of when we jumped into the Multiverse of Madness, it has been several months up into a year or so. She has been using this thing, dream walking, and fucking dreaming about the alternate variant versions of herself with her kids, and she's just having to relive that over and over and over again, and she's getting corrupted by the Darkhold, and all the other things that have happened in her life before have brought her to this point, in the sense of this is almost like a pattern, you know what I'm saying? When she went through that trauma of losing her parents from Stark, she went against him in Age of Ultron and then saw the error of her ways, right? And then with WandaVision, after having to kill Vision to try to save the day with Thanos, and then it didn't even work, and then she just left alone, then she goes and does the WandaVision thing. And then after that, she doesn't serve any consequences for her actions. We haven't seen her at all in the MCU, and she's been constantly dreaming about her variant versions of herself in the multiverse with these kids and using the Darkhold, which is gonna eventually corrupt your soul, as it did the Doctor Strange that we talked about with the Illuminati. So to me, I thought it was all right there, and it all made sense. And I do understand where people are coming from a little bit, teensy bit. Maybe we could have had a scene or two to kind of delve into that more and to kind of see that descent into the madness, if you will. But overall, man, it just worked for me, and I thought it was well done for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, Elizabeth Olsen fucking killed it like she always does. And she was just, like I said before, she was terrifying in this, man. She was just fucking full on, like, Evil Dead, Terminator mode sometimes, man. Like, it was just fucking crazy, bro. And just the way that she was pulling some of these lines off, like when she was talking to Reed Richards, John Krasinski right up in the house right there, when she was talking to him saying, when he was saying, I have kids, Wanda, I know how you feel. And she's like, you don't know how I feel. But at least your kids will have someone to raise, or have someone to raise them, because she was implying right there, I'm about to take your ass out, bro. I'm like, damn, bro, you're about to do to him what you are mad about? Like, oh my God, like you're the problem. Goddamn. Like, she's just full on dark side, bro. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, she is so savage up in this. Like, when she's at Carmitage attacking the fucking stronghold, and then she like goes and whispers at that dude's ear, like, and sneaks up behind him, and she's all, run. it was just fucking scary, bro. And homie's like, fuck, I'm out of here. And everyone just starts running and tripping over each other, and the shield goes down, man, and she just starts taking fools out. And speaking of taking fools out, man, that whole Illuminati scene right there, I was like, hell yeah, let's go. She was taking niggas out and wasn't fucking around, bro. She was taking ass. She was kicking ass and taking heads. You know what I'm saying? Sliced Captain Carter up in half. You know what I mean? Fucking made Black Bolt blow up his own fucking skull. And then she turned Reed Richards into fucking silly string, bro. Like, god damn, man. And then she fucking, oh man, she just killed everybody, bro. Like, it was fucking insane. Snapped Professor X's neck, bro. My boy Patrick Stewart back in the house, man, playing Professor X, doing his thing, and she just comes up into the fucking up into the the little telepathic pocket dimension, as I like to say, and then just snaps homie's neck, bro, like it ain't no thing, man, like just ding. I'm like, oh shit, man, like what just happened right now? Like, goddamn, like Wanda ain't playing in this, man. Like, it's just so many cold lines. I absolutely love that character. She's always been one of my favorite characters, man. And she definitely does some fucked up shit here. And I don't know, man. She might be beyond redemption at this point, bro. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because she did some shit. But overall, man, like I really thoroughly enjoyed her character arc in this film, man. Love the way that it all went through for the most part, man. There's one negative about it that's a huge negative for me that we're going to get into in a little bit when I get into the negatives, but goddamn, I loved her in this film, man. Scarlet Witch. This was the fucking Scarlet Witch, man. Props to that. Sam Raimi, you the man, boy. So moving on, man. America Chavez. I dug her overall, man. I thought that Jotil Gomez, I think is her name. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but yeah, I liked her in this overall, man. I definitely think her character was lacking in development a little bit, but overall, from her performance and her dynamic with Doctor Strange, I really dug both of those aspects, man, and really liked her in this, and think there's a lot of potential for growth with this character as well. So I hope she sticks around and gets another cool role in something else. Because I really liked her in this film, man. And her whole power set of the way she punches star-shaped holes into different dimensions in the multiverse and whatnot. I love the way that they just fully brought it straight from the comics into live action just seamlessly. You know what I'm saying? And just the whole way of her discovering that she can control her powers, I thought was pretty well done overall. And the backstory with her character, I thought was pretty heartbreaking and pretty interesting as well. I just thought it was kind of clunky the way that they got to her backstory with the memory thing, and then with Doctor Strange and whatnot. I just think there was probably a little bit of a smoother way to get into that with maybe Wanda or someone using, mental type things. You know what I'm saying? I think there was just a little bit of just a more, just standard way of getting into that flashback without having to do it that way. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I really like America Chavez. And can't wait to see her again up in the MCU, man. Really dug her in this film overall. Yeah, my boy Wong up in this, Benedict Wong in the house. He was cool in it. He's always great. Did get his ass kicked quite a bit in this thing, man. But hey, how can you blame him, man? He's going up against the Scarlet Witch single-handedly a lot of the time. So he's trying his best. He's trying his best, man. He's trying his best. And I gotta say, man, just some of my favorite scenes and moments that I haven't mentioned so far in there. Just the whole Illuminati reveal, you know what I'm saying, with Professor X, John Krasinski, but we already knew about Professor X from the trailer, obviously. But the whole John Krasinski reveal, I did not fucking know about. So I was so fucking excited to see that go through, and I hope he comes back as our version or whatever kind of main version that we get in the MCU whenever they do drop in the MCU moving forward. I really hope it is John Krasinski up in that role doing that thing, man. That's just me. But I really liked him overall in that, man. It was cool to kind of see Anson Mount get to kind of redeem Black Bolt a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And the whole Captain Carter, Captain America thing with Haley Atwell coming back to play her one more time, or play her in live action after What If, that was fucking great because, like I said before, I always wanted to see that in live action after it was introduced as an idea and after the episode premiered in What If, which wasn't my favorite episode of the season of What If by any means, but I still dug it a lot and loved that idea and wanted to see more with that, especially that Winter Soldier tease at the end of that. I hope, because there is rumor right now, actually, that they're developing a live-action series or movie or some kind of project with Captain Carter, a.k.a. Captain America, whatever you want to call it. I really hope it picks up with that Winter Soldier story with that version of Steve in her universe. You know what I'm saying? I really want to see a miniseries of that. I think that'd be fucking dope. I really would love that. And it could tie in slightly into maybe Captain America 4. I don't fucking know. But I would really love to see a miniseries, Winter Soldier-esque type story with Captain Carter. That's my big thing right there. But it was cool to see her up in this, and she had the fucking jetpack, like her name was Mandalorian up in this bitch. Loved that. And then getting to see Monica Rambeau get to be what's her name? Did I get the name right? Monica Rambeau? No, Maria Rambeau. My bad. Maria Rambeau, her mother in the multiverse here as I'm gonna say Captain Carter again. Captain Marvel. That was dope as well. That was cool to get to see her pop up in there again. And and then you got Baron Mordo as well. So that was all really dope, man. I like the Illuminati reveal, all the Illuminati kills, that whole sequence. Fucking great, man. Just double thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Doctor Strange at the end there with the fucking Batman, or not Batman, but the Batman-esque looking bat cloak and shit. Oh, man. That shit was so sick, man. I love that whole thing at the end fight there with the gargoyle things that Scarlet Witch had following her around and shit. Man, that was just really awesome. Love Zombie Doctor Strange. That was fucking cool. And what was so? Let me see. I thought there was like one other there's like a couple other cool moments. Yeah, the Carmitage attack from Scarlet Witch. That was great. The whole run, like just fucking scary as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? And then there was one other scene I was gonna mention, man. One other scene. No, I can't think of it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then the post credit scene, while I thought was a little clunky in the um in the execution of it, I like the idea of Clea coming into this thing and going forward as Doctor Strange's new love interest, and it being Charlize Theron. Like, I'm all on board for that shit. So definitely hoping that comes through when that goes down. But overall, man, really dug it. Really love this movie, man. Or for the most part, I fucking enjoy the hell out of this movie. But there are a few negative elements I'm going to get into right here. And one of those being that I did think that this movie should have been a little bit longer, about by 10 to 15 minutes, to let things breathe a little bit towards the finale. And also maybe give America Chavez and Doctor Strange just a little more development, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get their character arcs over just a bit more, give them time to kind of, grow that dynamic a bit more, I think would have really helped the film out and give it a little more emotional depth that it was missing in the film. There is some depth there, but not enough, I feel, to really counterbalance all the fun, more horrific, more like, zany out there elements in the film, you know what I'm saying? And, man, there's like just a couple other things I was going to mention. Oh, yeah. Damn, I forgot. Oh yeah, no fucking Vision. Where the hell is Vision, bro? Like, no mention of Vision really, except for like real quick that Viz believed that the multiverse was dangerous too. It's like, we know that, but where the hell is he at in the multiverse, bro? Why does he not exist in the multiverse anywhere? I'm like, Ultron didn't happen the way it did anywhere else, bro. Like, nowhere else, really. Like, what the hell is up with that? Like, I thought that was such a misstep right there to not include or mention Vision in some capacity with this film, man. And I think that would have added a whole nother level of like gravitas and like emotion to the Scarlet Witch like storyline, especially at that end, especially in the third act there towards the end when she's like trying to take over the other Wanda's body or whatever and take the kids for herself, and the kids are just terrified of her. I think it would have been so much more effective as well with Vision being there, with him being the one that talked her out of it, with kind of being the catalyst for the reason why she went back down this dark path starting in WandaVision in the first place. And I think that would have really tied just the movies together from Infinity War and Endgame as well for people, and pretty much everybody saw that shit because it made like $4 billion between both of them. So goddamn, you know what I mean? So I just think they really missed a opportunity to add that more emotional depth there as well with that. And that just made sense to me to mention it here. I just don't understand why they didn't mention it. I don't know what they would have planned for him in the future, but hey, we're gonna just have to wait and see, I guess. You know what I mean? But overall, man, is there really anything else negative I was gonna bring up? Not really. Oh yeah, I actually got one more positive to bring up. Actually, Danny Elfman's score and soundtrack up in this thing was fucking great. Like fucking Doctor Strange fighting with musical notes and fucking Danny Elfman just putting the score into that, man. It was just really cool. I loved Danny Elfman's scores in general over the years, you know what I'm saying? From Batman to Spider-Man to shit, Edward Scissorhands and Nightmare Before Christmas and all these different things that he's worked on over the years. And it's really great to see him come back into the superhero genre and get to do something like this, Doctor Strange, which totally fits into his wheelhouse. So really dug Danny Elfman's score in this. I really dug it. I actually might get this on vinyl or soundtrack if I can find it, because it was a really cool, refreshing soundtrack in the MCU, especially because the MCU doesn't necessarily have a strong track record for soundtracks. So I think that was really cool that this one had a stronger soundtrack as well. But yeah, man, overall, I really dug this fucking movie, man. I had a great time with it. I just think, like I said, there's a few clunky elements to it that I think could have really made it just like top tier MCU, but it's right in the upper half of that mid tier MCU for sure. Like, it's not a top 10er, I don't think, but it's damn close for me, man. But overall, I think I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really fucking enjoyed Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. It is such an awesome movie, in my opinion. Like I said, not fucking No Way Home, Endgame, Winter Soldier, Civil War level, you know what I'm saying? But it is damn good, and it is definitely one of the more refreshing, unique superhero movies, comic book movies in a minute, and definitely in the MCU. That always is going to help continue to keep things fresh in the whole fucking comic book genre, man, because in fandom, we got to keep it fresh, we got to keep it cool, and we got to keep doing different things to keep it, alive, and to keep it breathing, and to keep it thriving, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to root for that in my superhero, in my comic book movies, you know what I'm saying? But I want to know what y'all thought about Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. Get all to the spoiler discussion, man. Get all up in the comments and spoil that thing. I want to get into that discussion with y'all. And thank you so much for tuning into this latest episode of the Fandom Frequency Show. It's your boy Kenny once again. Follow us on Twitter at fan_frequency and follow us on IG at fandom_frequency. We'd really appreciate it, man. Make sure you click like and subscribe if you watch this audio episode on there. And if you're listening on the podcast feed, man, thank you so much for doing that as well. Make sure you keep clicking that download button. Make sure you keep clicking the share button as well. And spread the word about the Fandom Frequency, man. We're trying to build that community with you guys, man. And if you got some content, if you got some stuff in mind, music, whatever, man, hit us up. We'd love to, work out something with y'all, man. Maybe even get you on the show for an interview, all that good jazz. You know what I'm saying? We're totally open to that stuff. We're totally trying to network with everyone out there in this space, doing anything in the world of art or entertainment. So until next time, guys, stay tuned. Don't sleep. And we're going to catch you on the flip side, y'all. We're going to see you again real soon. A lot of dope content, y'all. Don't sleep on it. Peace.